When we think of a serial murderer, the behavioral profile usually follows a predictable pattern. They operate in the shadows, carefully scrubbing crime scenes and doing everything in their power to remain entirely invisible to the authorities. Curious, leaning in, the Zodiac operated with a completely different set of rules. He treated his crimes like a gruesome public performance, actively demanding an audience for his violence. He subverted standard criminal expectations. He deliberately left surviving witnesses who could describe him. He even picked up payphones to casually report his own attacks to the local police dispatch. His most effective tool, however, was the media. He flooded California newspapers with handwritten letters, threatening mass violence if editors refused to publish his messages on their front pages. This creates one of the most frustrating gaps in criminal history. He provided investigators with dozens of handwritten pages, direct forensic markers, and a detailed map of his own internal logic. Yet, after 50 years, his true identity remains out of reach. The Zodiac case defies the basic logic of a criminal investigation. It proves that an overwhelming volume of evidence doesn't always point to a suspect. Sometimes it just creates enough noise to let a killer slip away entirely. The violence began late in 1968 and continued into the summer of 1969. Young couples parked in secluded areas around Vallejo, California, were ambushed in their cars. During the second attack, Michael Majo survived multiple gunshot wounds. He gave police their first major break, a physical description of a stocky white male attacker. Minutes after the shooting, the killer made a calm, measured phone call to the Vallejo Police Department, directing officers to the scene and claiming credit. Soon after, the killer mailed complex ciphers to major newspapers, warning Lore would die if not published. A teacher and his wife cracked the code, revealing a disturbing confession. The killer was hunting humans to collect as slaves for his afterlife. As terrifying as the message was, it offered zero practical value for detectives. The decoded text contained no names, revealed no locations, and no actionable leads. Understanding a perpetrator's internal philosophy does not automatically tell you who they are. The profile was deeply unsettling, but it couldn't put handcuffs on a suspect. By September 1969, the attacks escalated into full theatrical horror. Approaching a couple at Lake Berryessa, the killer wore a black executioner's hood featuring a white crosshair symbol, which he later drew in pen on the victim's car door. Weeks later, he moved his violence directly into the city. He shot and killed a taxi driver named Paul Stein in a residential San Francisco neighborhood. To remove any doubt that he was responsible, the killer mailed this handwritten letter to the press. Included in the envelope was a blood-stained piece of the taxi driver's shirt. Because the San Francisco shooting happened in a populated area, several witnesses saw the killer leaving the scene. Police released this wanted poster featuring an accurate sketch. Yet, responding officers passed a man matching this drawing blocks away. A mistaken radio dispatch described an African-American suspect, so they let the white male walk right past them. In the years that followed, detectives zeroed in on a man named Arthur Lee Allen. He matched the physical description, owned the same brand of boots found at a crime scene, and had discussed similar murder plots with friends. Yet, the massive pile of material the killer had sent to the media ultimately protected Arthur Lee Allen. His fingerprints didn't match the cab, and his handwriting didn't match the letters. In this case, a massive volume of disjointed physical evidence actually hindered the investigation, creating false leads and dead ends rather than a clear path to conviction. By communicating directly with the press, this unknown man turned a series of brutal murders into a grim, interactive public narrative. Decades later, independent researchers, codebreakers, and local police departments continue to pore over the old case files, refusing to let the trail go cold. The final hope rests on modern science. Investigators are turning to advanced DNA profiling, hoping to extract genetic material from the decades-old envelopes and stamps the killer licked. Until a laboratory can definitively match a genetic profile to a name, the Zodiac remains an elusive ghost. He serves as a stark reminder that even when a perpetrator offers their own fingerprints and philosophy to the world, they can still vanish into history.